So now let us know. You understood this everyone thing, right? So let us now take no real thing like I'll put a request mapping now. And I'll give here something like employees. So here I'll give employees. So here I'll write a database logic to get the employees, right? Here I'll write a database logic to get the employees. Now, what I'll do is so you know how to write the database logic to get the employees? So do you know how to write the database to get the employees? I'm just waiting for your response. How you will write a database logic to get the employees? What are the different ways? Before this MVC only we have studied using Hypernet, right? Using Hypernet or JDBC, we can get the data, right? 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 Okay. Can we do that? See, already we have that program also here. Here we have this, right? So like student, we can have employee, right? Can we do this? We can use Hypernet and do that, right? What is the other way? We can use like this and we can do, right? What is the other way? JDBC, right? So currently, I will not write that one because already you know that. Now what I'll do is currently now, let me do like this. Assume that you are writing a database logic and getting the employees and you got the data. So let me now create a service class. Okay, so what I'll do is, this is your orders handler, right? Instead of writing the method here, I will write in one more class, okay? New class. Employee handler, right? So here I'll just use @controller, right? So here I'll do employees, get employees. Here I'll say return employees. So when I invoke this URL, what will happen now? Your dispatcher servlet will send the request to this URL matching with this URL pattern, invokes this method, and it will get this. So it will now you'll have this JS. Right? You will have this JSP. Right? And here I'll say H2. This is employee data dot the data page. Right? So now let me start the server. Let me invoke this URL localhost. /employees. No, I have to give this web application name also, springMVC demo 1. Okay, this is employee data page. You know how this is coming, right? Yes, already we have seen that. So any request that is coming, this URL pattern is matching with this and invoking this method. This is returning the string. So this string will resolve to a JSP name with employees.jsp. That means this string should corresponding to this string, there should be a JSP present in this view. WebInf view employees.jsp and this one. And where we define that one? Here we define prefix and suffix. Right? We have seen already. So now let me know. Already we have seen it, but I need actually some database logic. I mean, this should connect to a database. That means this we should have like this. So from the request goes to service goes to repository. So repository, from repository will get, okay. So what I'll do is now, currently this logic, Hibernate, we have seen many examples for repository. Let us call a service class and I'll hard code the data. Instead of connecting to the database, and I'll hard code the data here. So what I'll do, I'll just say new class employee service. And here I'll say @service. And here I'll say public list employee. I'll say get employees. See, this service I will wrote. See, this annotation service. Control is calling a service. Okay. Service will call repository. Okay. So like that. So let me create a class employee here. New class employee. Here I'll say what are the different properties of employee? Employee ID, employee name, right? Next I'll say employee salary, or I'll say employee designation, right? So Now I'll generate getters and setters for this. Now you set property method, get property method. Now what I'll have is now in my service class, I create an object here. Employee EMP is equal to new employee. Next EMP dot set employee ID. I'll say E100. Employee dot setup. See, ideally I should get these values from the database, but I'm hard coding. Okay. I'll show you one real-time complete project connecting to this complete real-time project connecting to the database from this. I'll show you that. But for now, just till these two layers only, till this part only. From here to here, that part. I'll say employee designation as some manager. Now I'll create this list of employee. Array list. Then I'll say employees dot add of EMP. Let me create one more object here. This I'll say now E101. Rajesh, some engineer. Okay, and I'll add that in this list. You know what I'm doing, everyone understood what I'm doing here. Instead of getting that everyone, I'm just hard coding here. And this hard coding logic, everyone is understanding what I'm doing. Okay. What is the difference between component and service? I told this already. These are special annotations used in springMVC. But these are also the child annotations of your parent annotation component. Right? So in MVC, we'll be using these special annotations, but these are all derived from component only. Right? Okay, this logic, everyone understood what I'm doing. This logic, what I'm doing, anyone can tell what I'm doing. Plain core Java logic. What this logic is doing is a plain core Java logic. No, that is fine. Only this logic I'm asking. This logic, what it is doing. Not in database. No, what I'm doing is, just under simple logic. I'm not asking any JSPs or anything. What I'm doing. No, not inserting in the table. Where is table mentioned here? I did not mention anywhere table, right? What I'm just understand line by line. What I'm doing here, it is creating an employee object, right? Right. Right. Now, the properties set in this employee object are EMP ID, E100. Right? These are the properties set. EMP name, Raju, EMP designation, manager, right? Right? This is what. And then what I'm doing, employees dot add of EMP. What is employees? This is an array list, right? This is an array list, right? This employees is an array list, right? Right. So what I'm doing now, I'm creating here, I created one array list, which is this employees, right? Which is this employees, this is an array list. Now I added one object here. That means this object, this EMP, this is an object, right? This object I'm adding there in the array list. This is your array list. So I'm adding this object here in this list. What is a list? List is a collection of objects, right? Now I added one object. Now again I'm creating new object. New employee means again I'm creating a new object, right? Now this is again EM. That means this one. Now what I'm doing now, here I'm setting the properties here. Now I'm setting the properties now. EMP ID, E101, EMP name, Rajesh, EMP designation, engineer, right? So this is what I'm doing here. Right? Now this is employee object. Now I will be adding this also here. So this will be your another employee object. Where I'm doing that? This line. When I say employees.add of EMP, what it is? This will add this object into this list. Now this list is having two objects. This one is referring to this object, this element two. So this is an array list. This is an array list where this starts with index 0. This starts with index 1. That's not right. This code is doing that one only, right? This is creating one object. This is creating another object. So here we're adding that in the list. Here we're adding that in the list. This is a pure core Java. I was asking this logic only. Now this is a list. Now this list contains two objects. This list contains two objects. Right? This is the logic. Everyone understood this logic? Everyone understood? Right? This is what I was asking. Now, why I'm doing like this? Because instead of connecting from database, if you get from database, we'll use an Hibernate query like this and get the list of object like this from the database. Right? Instead of doing like this, I told you that I'll show you end to end again. I'm just hard coding some data and returning it. Now, what I want to return now? Once repeat about same object reference. Object reference, why it is same? See, that doesn't matter now. This object reference is pointing to this object. Now this object reference now is pointing to now. That means whatever now this. But by the time this object has been added into this one, right? Right? See, this EMP has been added here. This object has been added here. Now after that, I am creating another object. This is another object and adding this object. Right? Right. Yeah, this see, you can use like EMP1, EMP2 also. See, for example, I'll just, what I'll do is, I'll just run through this public static void main. Okay, just for you to show testing. Okay, I'll just say employee service. Service is equal to new employee service. Now service dot get employees. Right? And I'll say return the employees. I wanted to show you this running. What will happen now? I'll just say list of employees. Now I'll say for employee EMP. Employees system dot out dot println EMP dot get employee ID. EMP dot get employee name. Get employee designation, right? Now let me run this program once. You got the two objects, right? You see? You got the two objects. So this object details with this, which is your E100 Raju manager. Now the second object with E101 Rajesh engine. So you added this object in the list. Then you are pointing again object reference to a new object. Again that you are adding in the list. Now this will be pointing to this object. This will be pointing to this object. So just I'm writing a for loop, okay, to iterate. Now 2 elements I got, okay. But now this is not my goal. I want to show this in the JSP. Now in my employee handler, here I'll say auto while. Auto while. Employee service. employee service. Then here I'll say employee service dot get employees, right? And now what I'll do, I want to decide this will be returning a list, right? Right. Now I wanted to return this list to this JSP. Okay, to this JSP. So for that, what I'll do is here I'll pass a model map. I'll tell you what is this model map. I'll say map dot add attribute. I'll give you EMP data and I'll just send this employees. And then I'll just have return employees.js. See what I'm doing? This is a model map. Who creates this object? Now let me tell you this one. What will happen now? You see here. So this is my controller class. This is my controller class. Now, whenever I type from the browser, localhost 8080 / okay, springMVC demo 1 / employees, right? Right. So this URL pattern. So this URL pattern matches with this. Right. This URL pattern matches with this. Now, so first the request will go to the this request will go where? To dispatcher servlet. So the request will go to dispatcher servlet. Right. Now, this dispatcher servlet, where it will go? I mean, this will match with this URL pattern and it will match with this. Right? It will match with this URL pattern. Right? And then this model map object is created. This object is created by dispatcher servlet. Okay. So what this object does? This is the model. This object. So now any value that is set in this object, data that is set in this object can be accessed in the JSP. Data that is set in this object can be accessed in the JSP. Now what I'm doing now? Now here this is an auto variant. That means the service class is injected here. Through this object, I'm calling the get employees. So what get employees is doing? This is the logic of get employees. Right? So this is the logic of get employees. Right? Now this returns a list. Now this returns a list. Now you got a list now. Now this you are passing here, and you are adding this model map. Okay, you can think like model map is like your hash map. Model map is derived from hash map only, which contains key value pair. This is the key and this is the value. Key is always a string. Key is a string, right? Now I'm returning this employees. So where it goes now? This result will again go to your dispatcher servlet. Now your dispatcher servlet now will invoke a view resolver. View resolver now will invoke this employees.jsp. Now in your employees.jsp, okay, this is your view resolver. Okay. Now you're in employees.jsp, right? In your employees.jsp, right? Employees.jsp, you will be referring the key of this model, of the model. That means this key, whatever EMP data is, that key you are referring here. So now, if you refer this key, this value will be coming. Now this value, you can pull in the JSP, this value, whatever this employees list, that means these values, these object values, that means this list. So this value you can refer. Value will, so when you refer the key of the model, you'll get the value. So value will be retrieved from the key. Now what will happen now? Now this value, whatever we got this list, in the JSP, what we do? What is JSP? Presentation layer, right? It is a presentation layer. Now we present the result of this list. So in JSP, we present in HTML. We present in HTML. We present the result, the list. We present the result in HTML. What is your result? Employees. That is what we do. That means, so how we are able to retrieve this key? We have to set in the model map, and this object is created by your dispatcher servlet. And whatever the data we set in this object, that can be referred in the JSP. Okay, shall we do now? Let me do what I'll do is now. Okay, employees.jsp, right? I have written all this, right? Now I'll refer with this key. Now in my products.jsp, what I'll do is, how many of you know JSP? See, what is a JSP? It is a Java server page where the syntax will be like this. In JSP, we write HTML, for the presentation, and along with that, we write Java also. JSP has that facility, HTML plus Java. Right. Now, how to write Java in JSP? So we can write Java in JSP using scriptlets. We call it as scriptlets or scripting expressions, right? So see, this is your HTML. This is your HTML. Okay, whatever you put H2, this is an HTML tag. How many of you know HTML? Okay. So this is your HTML. Okay. Sorry, you is able to hear me? See, I'll just say like this. JSP scriptlets or scripting expressions. Okay. So what I'll do is you see here. I'll say like this: dollar hash. Okay, dollar hash. Okay. I'll just say see, let me do like this. Just 1 minute. Dollar hash like this, EMP data. Let me do like this, okay? Let me see what I get. Just for now, I'll tell you what is this, okay? So let me now start this. Okay. So let me now trace it. I got like this, right? This is whatever I have printed that is coming here. Okay. What I'll do is to evaluate this, I'll say page is ignored equal to false. I'll tell you what is this, okay? I'll tell you what is it. Just wait one. Right. So let me now restart once again. Right. So I'll just refresh it. You see, I got an error. What is this? Code symbol expected. Okay, here I'll say false. Double quotes. Now I got some data. You see, this is one employee object. This is another employee object. You know, this is your object ID. Because this list is storing object ID, right? So this is one employee object. This is another employee object, right? Now I want to iterate this. I'll tell you what I'll do. Okay. Let me explain. First, I'll write this code and then I'll explain. Okay. I'll explain each and everything. Don't worry. Now I'll say tag lib URI is equal to http://java.sun.com. This is a old library /JSP/JSTL/core prefix equal to C. Okay. Now prefix. Right. Prefix. I'll tell you what is this. Okay. Just wait. Then what I'll do, you know how many of you know HTML? Like building a body and all that. Here, what I'll do is I'll put a table. This is your HTML, where border equal to 1. Okay, just some UI. Okay. Under this table, I'll write heading, table heading. I'll say employee ID. Next is employee name. Employee name. Next is employee designation. Right. And this will start with a TR. And then I'll end with this TR. Then what I'll do here, you see here. I'll explain you, okay? See for each, like a for loop actually, this one. Items is equal to $ hash this EMP data, this one. EMP data. Okay. And here I'll say var equal to employee. Then I will write TR. Here I'll say TD. $ employee dot EMP ID. No, employee dot EMP ID. Next is employee dot EMP name. Next is employee dot EMP designation. I'll tell you what is it. Just wait. I'll tell you everything. Let me run this program. Let me run this. Now you see, I got a tabular format. See, employee ID, employee name, employee designation, E100 Raju manager, E101 Rajesh engineer. I got in a tabular format, you see. This is how the pages are built. I mean, so HTML. So let me explain what I'm doing. Let me start one by one. So first write this controller. So these are controller class. Right? Now, from my browser, I say /employees. Right? So this path will be mapped to here. Okay, this path will be mapped to here. And your dispatcher server creates a model object. Now this will connect to your service class, where this is your returning the list of employees. Right? Now this will return a list, okay, an employees list, which contains two objects. This one object, this object. Okay, two objects, EMP, EM. Now this return is returned back. Now what I'm doing, whatever I set the data in this will be the key value pair. With this key, I'm setting in the map. And I told you whatever data that is set here will be available in the JSP pages. Okay. Now I'm setting EMP data. This is the key and this is the list. This list is this. Now this is going to a JSP page. Okay. I mean, view resolver and everything, and employees.jsp. Now let me now take the JSP. What I'm doing, what is the JSP? Your JSP is your HTML plus Java. Now you see what I'm doing here. Let me write the JSP here. Right. Now you are telling that, see, here this is a JSP. JSP structure will be an HTML structure. Okay, this will be an HTML structure. And here we'll use HTML elements. Right? For example, we'll say this H2. This is your HTML element. Okay, this is your HTML element. And we have a table. This is HTML element. In table is HTML element, which is having a table. Right? With a border one. Border one means you'll have border actually. A border. Next, TR means it is HTML element. TR means row, table row. Now table row, it will create a table row now. Right? In the table row, in this row now, in this row, now that means see, this is your start of the row, this is the end of the row. That means in this row, I have three elements, which is your heading. TH means heading. So this is your table row. Table row. This is your table heading. I mean header we can say. Heading. Now you see what I'm doing now in this row. The first one is th employee ID. That means employee ID and heading is created. Okay, and heading is created. Okay. Next. Next. Okay, then heading is created. Next is employee name. Employee name and heading is created. Next, another one is employee designation. Employee designation. Okay, and heading is created. Now, this is one row. Now, what I'm doing now is, now in the second row onwards, this is the first row which contains heading. Now, second row onwards should have the values. From where the values will come? These are the values, right? So these are the values. From where the values will come? These are set in a list, and that list is set here in a model map EMP. That means if I refer this key here, this is the key of the model map. So this is the key of any data available in the model map. We can read that in the JSP. And what is this $hash? So this is actually, we call it as JSTL expression language or scripting. We can say like kind of expression. See, JSP provides a library called JSTL, which is called Java Standard Tagging Library. Right. So using JSTL, we can do how the Java code is doing. How if you do Java code, the same thing. Now this, when you say this one, this is nothing but read the data from this key. In Java code, how we refer? In Java code, we say map.getOf something like EMP data. This is like this will refer, right? In Java code, we refer like this. Right. Now, instead of writing like this, we just refer with this name, with this key name, using $symbol brace. This is your JSTL expression language. In Java code, when you say map.getOf EMP, it will get this list. This list will be written back. Now, the same thing when I say now $hash, now this list is written here. Now, here, if you see what I'm doing now, C loop for each. This is part of this library. As I told you, this is also JSTL library only, which is a core. Just like how Java contains for loops and all that, your JSTL also contains your for loop. Why for loop? Because this list contains multiple objects, right? This list, whatever this list is there, this can contain multiple objects. See, currently now, how many objects are there? 1 object, 2 objects. Suppose if there are 10 objects, there will be 10. So I want to iterate that. Just like how you want in Java, how you read the collection object using a for loop, right? Using a for loop, you will read a collection object like this. Like this, using a for loop. Now the same for loop now in JSP using JSTL, I can use like this. C for each. C is a part of, it is a prefix used here. So where this for each is a part of this JSTL core library. So that's what. So with the JSTL, whatever the Java does, you can do that in the JSP, similar to Java logic. Internally, this will convert to Java only. Okay. And this is a temporary variable like this. For example, here, if you see in my Java, how I done for employee, this is the list. This is the list. And this is the count object reference. So for each list, emp.getEmpID, emp.getEmpName will get that attributes. Now here also, this is the variable holding this object in the current iteration. Now your service returns how many objects? 1, 2. So it will go to the first object. Now you see here, again I'm creating a row here. Again I'm creating a row. Of course, I should have it. I should have another row ending also here. I should have a row ending. Right? Now I'll have like this. Now you see. Now I'm creating a row now. I'm creating a row. Okay, now a new row is created. Now in this employee.empid, that means this is a temporary variable. .empid means this list contains this employee object. So .empid means it will call the get empid, which is equal to E100. E100. Next, employee name means employee.emp name means next column. So this TD is, we call it as a data column. TH is a header column. This is a header column. TH means header column. TD means data column. Okay, data column. Right. Now in the first data column, employee ID is there. Now in the second data column, employee name is there, which is your Raju. Right. Now in the third data column, you have employee designation, which is your engineer. Now this is the end of the row. This is the end of the row. Now still for loop goes again further because there are 2 elements now. Suppose if the 10 elements, this will run for 10 times. There are two elements now. It will go again here. It will check now the list is not empty. Now it will take the second object. That means the second object, that is this one. Again, TR means again to create a new row. A new row is created. TD means again in the first column. So what will happen now? Employee ID, which is your E101. Next is Rajesh and engineer. Rajesh. Next is engineer. Right. So now we are ending the for loop. And then we are closing the table. Now this is one I got here. The same thing I got here. Everyone clear? So whatever the Java is doing, we are achieving with the JSTL, which is Java Standard Tagging Library. And this for loop is part of this core library. Whenever we are referring with the C for each. Okay. So this is like your JSTL core. And this is your headings, table started, table ended. Everyone clear, right? I mean, prefix C means, whatever the methods that are present in this library, we are referring with that C, prefix C. So these two, yeah. What this line tells is, this line tells like, see, if there is no line like this will print as it is. This expression language is not evaluated. When I put is EL ignored, EL means expression language. EL means expression language. If I don't put this one, this will be printed as it is, $. We have seen the earlier example. Just earlier. If I don't put this as it is, this will be printed. Now, if I put false, that means don't print like this, evaluate this expression like it. Don't ignore. When I say easily ignore to false means it will tell don't ignore EL. Don't ignore expression language. Evaluate means now it will refer this key present here and get the data. Otherwise, what it will treat like this is a simple string, a text, and the text will be printed as it is. And the text will be printed. If I don't put this easily convert, the text will be printed like this, as it is with a dollar. Okay. See, suppose I'll tell you as it is. Let me, if I'll remove this, right? I think earlier I removed this. I mean, earlier it was not there. Right? I'll just restart the server. Now I'll refresh it. I think what I'll do is I'll comment out all this. I think this for loop, I'll comment out this. I'll say $EMP. I'll start this. Okay, I think, okay, this is not commented. Sorry. It is not commented. That's why it is coming. I'll remove this. This is as if it is now, it is there. I'll remove this. Now I'll restart again. Now you see, I got this as it is. Whatever I'm doing here, $EMP data, this is coming as a text. But it should not be like that. It should evaluate like an expression. That means expression language. Then only it will read the data from the model. Where is your model? This is the key of the model. So this key, for this key, what is the value? This one. So it is as if like, if I put like this, this is as if like map.get from your hash map, whatever your Java. So that is the reason I should tell that don't ignore. False means don't ignore expression language. EL means expression language. So these are expression language, okay? The second one is you are importing this core library. This is like your import package in your Java. Import, we'll say, right? Import something. That is like that. If we import this one only, we can use this for each. This contains some core libraries like for loop, if else conditions, whatever you can do in Java, for loop, if else, all that you can do in this core library with this JSTL. So C for each. That means this is part of this. That's why we are importing this. It's just like your import statement in Java. And this is your library, okay? Everyone clear? So if I don't put this, this will be printed as it is. It will not evaluate. Everyone clear? Whatever I told. All right then. All right then, okay? Thank you. Okay, any questions? Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow then, okay? Thank you all. See you tomorrow then, okay? Thank you all.